Okay, hello there. It is like late on a Thursday. This is not the normal time I film. I'm sorry if the lighting's all weird, but I don't care because we just got some huge Avatar news and I have to talk about it right now. So we're doing this. Okay, so Avatar Studios is a thing and we don't really know much about what that means, but here's what we do know. To be honest, I was hesitant to be excited about this whenever it was first announced last night. I saw the announcement and my initial thought was, I don't know how I feel about this. Because as Avatar fans, we have been burned, okay? We've been burned time and time again. And most Avatar news that has come out so far in the past year, it's been like a roller coaster ride. First, we're excited about the Netflix live action series, and then the creators are leaving, and it's been a journey, and I didn't want to get my hopes up. But then Bryke put out their statement. For those who aren't like in this, Bryke is the fan-made term of the co-creators Michael and Brian put together. So they put out a joint statement. In specifically Brian's tweet, he sounded super excited about it. And I mean, they're both pretty down to earth, but I feel like Brian is more down to earth of the two of them. I mean, I don't know them personally. This is just the feeling I get from reading their content. But I feel like Brian is not going to act happy about something that he's not happy about. And he used emojis at the point that Brian is excited about this. I should also be excited about this. So they put out a statement. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can read the whole thing yourself if you want. Specifically, it says, there are still many stories and time periods in Aang's world that we are eager to bring to life. It also says, with this new Avatar Studios adventure, we have an unparalleled opportunity to develop our franchise and its storytelling on a vast scale. And so, we are getting more Avatar content. And not just more Avatar content, because the Netflix live action series is probably still happening. Like, this does not affect it. That is its own thing. Bryke is no longer involved in that, but they're probably still going to do it unless they now see this as a competitor and they think like, well, Avatar fans are just going to be over here. And so it won't be worth their investment. So I don't know. I assume they've already put enough time and money in developing that live action series that is probably still going to happen, but that is not like part of Avatar Studios. It's its own thing. I'm getting most of my news from Avatar News, and this is a fan-made site, but it's really good. He does a lot of research, and I highly recommend checking it out. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, just like the highlights. Avatar Studios is a new studio at Nickelodeon. It is probably not an animation production studio, so it's not going to be making the animation. I think it's going to be more of like developing the stories and ideas and content, and then like the actual animation will be done somewhere else. They've said that Avatar Studios is going to create original movies, series, and short content. And we don't know what short content means. Very short, or if it means like mini series. We don't know what short content means. We don't really know what movies mean. If it will be theatrical, like in the theaters, or if it will just be a feature-length film. They do say that their first project is a theatrical animated film. So this announcement came yesterday alongside the Paramount Plus event. Viacom, I think that's how it's pronounced, owns Nickelodeon, which owns Avatar. So it was part of this big event. Paramount Plus is replacing CBS All Access, and it launches on March 4th. Now, new Avatar content will not be on there on March 4th, but they said that it will be there within the first 2 years. Probably like one show, I would think, will come out within the next 2 years, in addition to maybe the theatrical film. I don't know, this is speculation. So Paramount Plus will get some of the content, maybe all the content, we don't know, but it also mentions that it will also be made for Nickelodeon, like old-fashioned linear is the word they use, TV, and digital outlets, third parties, theaters. So this is a big deal. It's going to be in a lot of places, I assume. I think Paramount Plus will be the main place. Avatar's already doing successful comics and novels, and so I think that they will probably continue to do that too and expand it. I think it's going to be like Star Wars, personally, my opinion. I think like it's going to become a big multiverse like Star Wars with all the different mediums and films and shows and things like that. An interesting thing that I noticed in Michael and Brian, they both used the word Avatarverse, and they also used the word Avatarverse in their official statement. I think that's kind of like a buzzword here, that they're expanding the Avatar universe and are creating kind of like the Harry Potter wizarding world in a way, in my mind at least. And it's all going into the Avatarverse. Another thing that I found interesting about their statement is that they say there are still many stories and time periods in Aang's world. So I don't know if that means the Avatarverse or specifically stories set alongside Aang. And so I kind of wanted to transition into my list of potential projects that I hope that they develop. One thing to note is that they have not mentioned anything live action. They've explicitly mentioned animation. I don't think we'll see anything live action, at least not for a while. Again, like Netflix is still probably going to do their live action thing, and I don't know contract-wise who has the rights to do live action or not. I just assume that they will let Netflix handle that for a while. They're going to be focusing on animation, and then maybe down the line they'll do live action. But I think that Bryke has always had a favor for animation, and I think that animation works better for this story that they're telling. So anyway, I'm going to talk about 10 shows that I would like to see them develop. I feel like Joe March. I have 10 stories in my head right now. And I ordered these from kind of like, not most likely to least likely, but kind of like low-hanging fruit to high-hanging fruit. Especially knowing that their first project is an animated film, I think they have to adapt The Search. This is a 3-part comic series that came out several years ago, and it answers the question of what happened to Zuko's mom. And I think that that question is one of the loosest of loose ends that the series left us with, and even Korra kind of teased it. So I think if they do anything more with the original characters, it would probably be this, and I think a feature-length film is the perfect medium to do it. I don't think they need to do another season or another show or anything like that, but I would like for them to answer this question, because even though they've answered it already in the comics, a lot of the people who watch the shows aren't going to read the comics, and since they pose that question so bluntly, like it's really in your face in the Avatar finale and in the opening of Korra of what happened to Zuko's mom. I think since they made such a point to bring that to the surface, that they need to answer that question in animation, and I think now's the perfect time to do it. Also, The Search is my favorite of all the comic series. I really like what it does to Azula's character too. It doesn't necessarily redeem her character, but I think it shows a lot more depth by showing her relationship to her mother. And it is a story that I really want to see animated. Okay, number 2, I do not think we're going to see a lot of the older gang. I know that's what everyone wants, and I know that's what everyone wanted instead of Korra. Bryke has been pretty adamant that they don't want to do more with the gang, that their story has been told, and there's just not a lot of like interesting story left for them. But I would like to see maybe like a short featurette, maybe not even a movie, just like a mini series, like a few episodes, maybe just one episode, something that kind of explains where they are, like a snapshot into their adult lives. I think would be cool, kind of reminiscent of Tales of Ba Sing Se, but them grown up, maybe as like a Christmas special. I don't know. Okay, number 3, I would love to see a story about Kyoshi, which I think they have to do, because Kyoshi is so big right now, not only because of her novel. I mean, she was big before the novels, but the Kyoshi novels have really just elevated her character, and I think it would be really, like, not easy for them to develop, but that character's already there. The novels do a great job at setting up her avatarhood too, but I would love to see her in her prime. And Avatar Kyoshi lived like 230 years. So there's a lot of material that they could work with. Since the novels are set during her teenage years, we haven't seen so much of her life. The other thing is that both Aang and Korra were kind of coming of age stories where they were still new, they were learning the elements and learning how to be the Avatar. And I would love to have a series where she's already comfortable with being the Avatar. You know, like she's already powerful and is like using her power to do good. Anyway, yeah, adult Avatar Kyoshi series I think would be phenomenal. The thing with that though is that Kyoshi is an Earth Avatar, and I know that a lot of fans really want to complete the cycle and do the next Earth Avatar and Fire Avatar. I think that would be really cool too, especially since Korra is set kind of during their version of the 1920s. So if you do the math, the next Earth Avatar would be like in our present day, and the next Fire Avatar would be like future. Korra already has like a steampunk vibe. I just imagine like a cyberpunk vibe, and everything is like high tech, but you also have the elements too. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Earth Avatar will be more like My Hero Academia, where you still have superpowers, but it's in the modern world. If you watch my NaNoWriMo videos, my NaNoWriMo project for 2020 was about the next Earth Avatar, and I had so much fun with that. If you want to learn more about my ideas for that story, I will link it somewhere. Yeah, just one word, twins. But the thing is, I don't think they'll do two Earth Avatar series next to each other. So they're either going to do Earth Avatar or Kyoshi first, and I think it would probably be Kyoshi, and then they'll do some other things, and then they might loop around and do Earth Avatar and then Fire. I'm thinking like way far ahead. By the way, Avatar Studios, if you're watching this, which you probably aren't, but if you are free to take any of these ideas. But if you would also like to hire me as a writer, it would be my dream come true. I would love every moment of it. Thanks. So number 6 would be more Korrasami content, because Korra and Asami, especially in recent years, have grown exponentially in popularity. I think their relationship says a lot and has been very inspiring to people, but the original show didn't really have time to flesh it out. We didn't really see them as a couple except for like the end of Korra, and for them to have the opportunity to expand on that, I think a lot of fans would really appreciate that. Now, I don't think they'll do like a whole other Korra show. They might do like a 5th season would be nice. If they do future avatars, I think those future avatars will be able to contact Korra so they can do like flashbacks of Korra as an adult with Asami, kind of like they did of Aang during Korra's series. So I don't know how they would do it, but I think we all want to see like Korra and Asami in a happy, stable relationship. Okay, so I've had an idea for a show for a long, long time now, and before it always seemed like a pipe dream, and now I'm like, I want it, especially since Bryke's statement mentioned stories in Aang's world. So what I would like is a story about Iroh's life told in a fashion similar to The Crown. Each season is a new decade of Iroh's life. I assume he's in his 60s during Aang's story, so that's 6 seasons right there. They don't have to be long, they can be short seasons. But Iroh is such a fascinating character. Everyone loves him, so he's a very lovable character. But when you start to think about his life, it's fascinating, and it is a story that they have not told. All that we really know about Iroh is he grew up the crown prince, similar to Zuko, but Zuko was not always the crown prince. He became in line to the throne when he was around 13. Iroh was always next in line to the throne. His father and grandfather were incredibly corrupt people. Yet somehow Iroh is one of the most lovable, genuine people in the show or ever. We know he had a son. We know his son died at Ba Sing Se at a young age. I'm gonna guess around like 20. I assume he had a wife. I assume he loved his wife dearly, just based on how he treats other people and young love, but we know nothing about his wife. I think he keeps it very close, and I would love to see that story. We also know that he was called the Dragon of the West, so he's a fierce warrior. He can do lightning bending, and he developed how to redirect lightning. And he studied the styles of the other 4 nations. So he's a very powerful and knowledgeable bender. And we also know that he met the, what are they called? The Sun Tribe, and decided not to kill the dragons. So I want to see more about his relationship with the dragons, his relationship with his wife and son, him learning the styles of all the other nations, him slowly becoming a member of the White Lotus and slowly turning against his family's ideals of like world domination, and his budding love for tea. I want to see it all, and I want to see it throughout his life. This is the show I want the most on my list. The story I've been obsessed with lately, and I have a video coming, but it is about Grand Kana. I would love Kana's backstory. As a movie would be great, an animated movie. As a miniseries, 1 or 2 seasons, I want it so much. I'll talk about this more in that video, but her story is incredible when you think about it, and I also think that it is mishandled, like how she ends up with Paku in the end. Stay tuned for that video. I will rant and explain, and we will do a deep dive into Kana's history. Number 9, again, this is a story that I have been wanting to see for years now. It's going to be painful. I would like to see the story of the Air Nation genocide and the subsequent witch hunt for airbenders, and how airbenders infiltrated the Fire Nation and had to live in hiding, and that's probably where Ty Lee comes from. I want to see that story. I think of it as similar to Order 66 in Star Wars. It is a very big, very tragic event, but the circumstances leading up to that event and the circumstances after that event are a really compelling story. I would love to see Monk Gyatso featured, seeing Sozin as a character, and again seeing like the airbenders that do survive and have to go into hiding afterwards, which we know is true from the comics that did happen. Having a character like Darth Vader hunt down the airbenders like hunting down Jedi. Again, it would be sad, it would be so tragic, but I think if Star Wars can make that story kid friendly, especially what they did with the new Clone Wars, the final Clone Wars season, I think they could do it, and I think it would be a not a good story, but a compelling story, series or a novel about the Air Nation genocide. I would like to see it. And then finally, what gives me hope for this theory is in the statement by Brian Robbins, who is referred to as the president of Nickelodeon. Avatar Studio is a way to give Mike and Brian the resources and runway to open up their imaginations even more and dive deeper into the action and mythology of Avatar. So, mythology of Avatar. Stick with it. I've had a theory going for a while. In my theory, there was a nation of people physically inspired and culturally inspired by our world's Indian culture, and they were energy benders. So the main reason I think this, you might be wondering, we don't have a whole nation of Indian people in the show, but we do have Indian inspired characters who are like blatantly Indian inspired, the most predominant being Guru Patik. We also, during Wan's episodes, do not see a 5th energy bending lion turtle, but we know that one exists. It's the one that Aang meets at the finale. So, here's the facts. We have an Indian character who presumably comes from a culture and a people inspired by India, right? Like, he didn't just poof into the world like a mushroom. His parents presumably look like and talk like and act like him, or did when they were alive. He doesn't exist in a vacuum. We also have a fifth lion turtle. So putting together the dots of where did these people come from and where did they go, I think historically there was a nation of Indian-inspired people. I think they could do a series about these people set way, way early, like around Avatar 1's time, either before or after, and explain what happened to them. And I do think that they would be energy benders because that was the fifth lion turtle. Since we don't see them modern day, I think they were either wiped out, similar to the airbenders. My personal theory is that they went and lived in the spirit world, especially since we see the Tree of Time and we are told about how people would meditate in and around the Tree of Time and bend the energy within themselves. And I think it all fits. I think it all fits. And I think that this would be a great medium for them to explore and expand the mythology while still keeping within the seeds that they've already planted. And I would love to write it. I would love to write it. So I'm sorry that this video was a mess, but please let me know how you feel about this Avatar Studios announcement. What show or story that you hope that they come up with or adapt. Again, I am primarily a book channel, but Avatar is one of my passions. So I do upload Avatar content from time to time. Again, I have one planned about Kana. It's coming soon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to catch my future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. We're living in my mind. Happens a magical night. I'm not a singer, sorry. My dog just got up. He just shook, so you probably heard that. Avatar Studios is going to create, bless you, Paramount Plus, which I know we don't need another streaming service. So we have Aang, air, Katara, water, and a lot of Aangs want to complete that cycle and do the next Earth Avatar plane. Sorry, here's the plane. We have an Indian character who, where did he come from? Where did they go? Cotton Eye Joe.